Hi there, I'm Zap Kumar, and I'm back with another episode of our series, How to FP&AI. In today's video, I'll be talking about tactical zero-based budgeting and forecasting. ZBB is a planning philosophy that can significantly curtail spending in low profitability business segments, but can just as easily take away momentum of high-performing units as well. Rather than full-scale thermonuclear ZBB, tactical ZBB allows you to manage expenses down in areas that need it while avoiding collateral damage to your cash cows. Let's get started. And first, we'll talk a little bit about ZBB. Zero-based budgeting is a management philosophy that says rather than take all of your expenses for granted from last year, you have to re-justify all expenses that go into your budget. It's a more time-consuming process than a more standard BAU plus delta, and typically involves many more iterations as budget justifications are needed on a line item by line item basis. However, it can be a very effective way to lower your expenses and get rid of expense inertia. The downside here is that it tends to eliminate much of your non-essential spend. While ultimately frivolous things like the in-house Friday bartender, company ayahuasca retreats, and holiday party at the Four Seasons may get pared down, so too might budgets around business development to listen and learn from your customers, travel to industry conferences where you may meet your peers, and culture building activities for team morale. The hypothesis here is that if you remove non-essential spend from business units that are performing excellently, you may be inadvertently tempering their motivation and may end up impacting their top-line performance in the longer term. So to solve that, and turning back to the application on screen, in FP&AI, we give corporate finance the ability to tactically apply ZBB. In this screen we talked about in the previous video, here's where we roll forward our current forecast to next year's plan. As a corporate finance super user, I have the ability first and foremost to set a threshold. This threshold will flag all business units and departments that have either missed their revenue target by more than this percentage or have overspent by more than this percentage. I can then tactically indicate which business segments and which departments I want to apply ZBB to. If we can see here, this particular legal entity, I want to say, okay, let's go ahead and zero base them, and that will apply for all of the departments underneath that particular entity. Or I can apply this a little bit more selectively. And for example, for this entity, I see that there are 2 departments that have exceeded the threshold, and I will go ahead and flag those to zero base. Now, once I roll forward my scenario and I roll forward my current forecast to my budget, let's take a look at what that looks like. We're here on the operating expense planning screen. And what I'll take a look at first is taking a look at a department that has been preceded and has been allowed to have a non-zero based budget, and then another department that will have to do zero-based budgeting. As I scroll down to my input section, what I can see is that my scenario has been rolled forward here for the procurement department, and I can see that for all of the expenses that I had from current year, these have all been rolled forward into my plan. Whereas if I change this view to my quality assurance department, this is now going to show me a budget that is completely devoid of any information, and it is blank, and I will have to re-justify all of my expenses. This functionality offered by FP&AI is designed to give you more nuanced control over your budgeting process. For business segments that perform very well, we allow you the ability to allow them to continue the momentum. And for business units that are suffering a little bit from a profitability perspective, applying ZBB to be able to help them control and manage their expenses down and increase profitability may be what the doctor ordered. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.